Okay, today we're going to start talking about statistics. So let's first talk about what is a statistical question. So a statistical question is one that collects data. You're going to expect some variation in the answers. So let's just look at some of these questions and see which ones are statistical and which ones aren't. So how many days are in March? That's going to be not statistical because we're going to always get the same answer. There's not going to be any variation in the answer. Okay, there's always 31 days in March. The next one, how old is your dog? Now, if I'm just asking you, that's not a statistical question. If I was going to collect data about all of the ages of the dogs of sixth graders, then that would be a statistical question. So like this one, how old are the dogs of all the students at Tohoto? That is statistical because we are looking for data collection there. How many classrooms are at Tohoto? That's not statistical because we're just asking about Tohoto. What was the average temperature at Tohoto at 6 a.m. this month? So that is statistical because we are going to be collecting data and then we're going to be calculating some statistical measure about that data. What proportion of students at Tohoto like watermelon? That's statistical because you would have to collect some data. How many hours do students at Tohoto spend studying? That's statistical because we're going to be looking for data collection. What is your cat's name? Not statistical if we're just asking one person. And then what colors are the cars of Tohoto seniors? That is statistical. Now this one, you are asking for a qualitative measurement, not a quantitative measurement. So you're asking for, color, so like red, green, blue. You're not going to get numbers, but you can still call that a statistical question even though you're not getting strictly numbers. Okay, so we're going to talk about finding measures of central tendencies. So this is finding information about the data and then using that to describe the data. So we're looking kind of for the middle of the data, the center. Okay, so we're going to talk about finding the mean, median, mode, and range. So for mean, the mean is the average. To find the mean, you add all of the numbers together and then divide by the number of data points. Okay, so basically what we're doing by adding them all together, adding all the numbers together, is we're putting the total kind of into one place. And then we're going to redistribute those numbers back into the same number of data points that we had. So if you imagine that we had a bunch of like sets of blocks, and if we wanted to find the average number of blocks, we would put all of the blocks together, and then we would separate them back into the number of piles that we had, but this time do it evenly. And however many we have in each pile would be our average. Okay, so if we have the following set of data that shows your test scores, we're going to find the mean by first adding them all together. So let's do that math over here on the side. So we have 92 plus 95 plus 73 plus 81 plus 84 plus 73. All right, so what I like to do is I like to try and find things that will add up to 10. So in the ones, if I add this 2, this 3, and this 5, that gives me 10. All right, and then plus 1 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 3 is 18. All right, so this 1 and this 9 make 10. And then we'll just add these up. So this is 19, 26, 34, 42, 49. So we have 498 is the sum of all of our numbers. Now that's not the average, because remember the average has to be within our data set. Okay, so we can't forget the crucial step of then dividing by the number of data points. So in this case, we're talking about test scores. So you took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tests. So 6 it goes into 0 or 4 0 times. 6 goes into 49. 8 times. We're gonna subtract 48. We get 1. We bring down the 8. 6 goes into 18 3 times. So 83 is the average. That would be the average or the mean of your test scores. Okay, so that's how you find mean. For median, it says the median is the data point in the middle when the data is in numerical order. First put the numbers in order, then find the one in the middle. If there's an even number of data points, find the value in the middle of the two middle data points. So first step is to put the data in order. This is not in numerical order, so we want to go from least to greatest. So we're going to do 73, 73, 81, 84, 85, or sorry, not 85, 90, there's a 95, not an 85, my bad, 92, 95. So see, it's very important that you're careful when you're writing out the data because you can make mistakes. So let's double check and make sure that I got all the points. So I should have 1, 2, 6. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now I'm going to find the middle. So I can do that by kind of working my way in. All right. So I end up in the middle of 81 and 84. If there's an odd number of data points, we would have gotten one number in the middle, but here we don't. So we need to figure out what exactly is in the middle of 81 and 84. So there's a couple ways we can do this. If the numbers are close enough, you could write out the numbers in between and then see that we have to find whatever is exactly in the middle of 82 and 83, which is 82 and a half. Or we can find the average of those two numbers. So we can find the average by doing 84 plus 81, which is 165, and then do 165 divided by 2, which is 82 and a half. So the median, or the middle number, is 82 and a half. So that's how you find the median. For the mode is the number that appears the most. It's the most common result. So in this case, the only number that appears more than once is this 73. And so the most common result is 73. Okay, the next thing is the range. The range is the difference between the highest and lowest numbers. To find the range, subtract the lowest number from the highest number. So our highest number is 95, and our lowest number is 73. So we do 95 minus 73, which is 22. So that is our range. Okay, so that's how we find the mean, median, mode, and range. Now let's look at this question down here. It says if the data set was 561348802, what would be the mode? So we're looking for the most common result. So in this case, all of our numbers appear only once. So that means that there is no mode. Could we write that the mode was 0? No. You can write that the mode is 0 if the mode is actually 0. So if there were multiple zeros in this data set, that could be the mode. But we cannot write that the mode is 0 because that does not mean the same thing as there is being no mode. Okay? Because 0 is a number. So in this case, it would be no mode. Okay, let's do a couple more examples here. So we're going to find the mean of this. So it says, what is the mean? Do we need to include 0 in calculating the mean? Yes, we do. When we add the numbers together, that 0 isn't going to change our answer at all, right? But we do need to include it when we are counting how many data points we have. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 data points, and that includes the 0. And think about this. If you get a 100 on a test and then you get a 0 on a test, okay, your average is a 50 because you do 100 plus 0 divided by 2. You can't just ignore the 0 and stick with the 100 because otherwise that would be a great strategy for your grade. Get 100 on your first assignment and then get zeros on everything else. but I'm sure you guys know that that's not how that works. Okay, so here we're going to add these up. So 8 plus 3 plus 12 plus 12 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 13. Okay, so this 8 and this 2 give us 10. The 4 and the 6 give us another 10, which is 20. This 5 and this 3 and this 2 give us another 10, which is 30. Plus the 3 is 33. So 3 plus 1 is 4, 5, 6. So 63. Now that's not our mean though, because we have to divide it by the number of data points, which we said is 9. 63 divided by 9 is 7. So the average is 7, and that makes sense because we know that our average has to be somewhere between 0 and 13, because that has to fall within the data points. Okay, for the median, we're going to order these numbers to start from least to greatest. So we're going to go 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, 12, 13. And I just counted those. I have 9, so I'm good. So the median, we're going to go in until we get to the middle. And this time, our median is part of our data set because we have an odd number of numbers. Okay, for the mode, we're looking for the most common results. The most common result is 12. And then the range, we do the highest number minus the lowest number. So 13 minus 0 is 13. So the range of our data set is 13. Okay, one more example. Finding the mean, median, mode, and range of the following data set. We need to start by adding these up. 15 plus 18. I'm going to add those two 20s together and make it 40 right away. 14, 17, 19, 19, 21, 19. Okay, so, well, we have 3 9s, so 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is 28. Plus a 4 is 32. Plus an 8 is 40. Plus 5 is 45. Plus 7 is 52. All right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus 2 is 9. Plus 5 is 14. Plus 4 is 18. So we have 182. And we have to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Divided by 10. So 182 divided by 10, that moves our decimal once to the left here in our number, right? So we get 18 and 2/10 as our mean or our average. Okay, the median, let's line them up. Our lowest is 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 19. Let's erase some of this. 20, 20, 21, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so the median, we're going to go in, going towards the middle here. All right, so we're going to get stuck in between these two numbers since they are the same number. What's in between 19 and 19? 19. Okay, so that's a case where we have an even number of data points, but our median is still part of our data set because it falls between the two of the same number. Okay, the mode in this case, the most common result is 19. because there are 3 19s. There are 2 20s, but there's more 19s than 20s. You can have a mode be more than one number. So let's say instead of being a 21 here, this was a 20, and we had 3 20s and 3 19s, then we would have the mode be 19 and 20. Okay, the range is going to be the highest number, which is 21, minus the lower number, which is 14. Lowest number, which is 14, and 21 minus 14 is 7. So our range of data points is 7. So that's how you calculate the mean, median, mode, and range.